If I told you guys that the secret to success has already been taught to you in the public education system, will you believe me? If the answer is no, then keep watching the video because you're going to understand some principles that will change your life. If the answer is yes, awesome. But keep watching the video anyways because you might pick something up. I don't know, whatever. Now, I'm not saying that, get into loans or whatever to go to, college or anything like that. Because if you know me, you should know that I honestly don't think college is the best investment if you are gonna input your personal capital. So like if you're gonna use your money or if you're gonna use like, get into loans to get the skills that are gonna help you land a job, I don't think college is the right way to do it. And the reason I say that is because unless you're doing something specifically that requires like, intense training, intense education, for example, like getting into medicine or the engineering or the STEM degrees, I think everything else you can kind of learn on your own or get an apprenticeship or like learn from someone that's already done it. So in that sense, college isn't necessarily the best investment because you spend 4 years of your life or less, depending on, whatever you did. And then you also got to get into debt. So for some people, they get into 50,000, 100,000, student loans, and they're doing that to get a job that's paying them what, 60,000, 50,000. I don't know. I don't know what whatever career you're choosing. And these loans also have interest. So as time progresses, the amount that you own increases and increases. So it's kind of like you're putting yourself in the situation where you're not getting the best return on investment. But that's outside of the point. That's the topic for another video. I don't want to talk about college and my belief behind it right now. What I do want to speak about is how do you create the success or how the public education system actually teach you how to be successful already. Now, on the surface, we learn pretty basic stuff that people say, oh, I'm never going to use this in today and, my life or whatever. Like, for example, when you're in school and you're in algebra class, you're always thinking like, dude, when am I ever going to use this? When am I ever going to use algebra in my life? I have a calculator. They don't like, I don't need this. And then you go into the whole rant, like, why doesn't school teach you how to do taxes and all that? And I agree. Like, why don't they teach you how to do that? Because to this day, I'm just like, let me hire an accountant because I don't want to deal with that. But point being, if you look at it from a different perspective, you'll learn that everything was already taught to you, but you just got to change the way you look at it. Now, what I'm getting at is especially is actually algebra. In algebra, you were taught everything required to be successful. Now, what I mean by this exactly is that you were taught the purpose of a function. Now, if you weren't good at algebra and you did bad, essentially a function, you can think of it as a machine or a system, right? Now, the way a function works, essentially the equation is f of x equals y. Now, if you go more in depth into it and you actually turn into like an equation, like you add like some variables and all this. So f of x equals, as an example, f of x equals 3x squared plus 1, which is a quadratic formula, one of them. It's like y equals something supposed to be. Now, the reason this is important, and just bear with me, I know I'm speaking numbers and algebra, and some people are like, oh, I don't know, this is gonna be a math class. That's not the intent. But that's also why you're not having the success that you're looking for, because you tune off your brain immediately after something challenges you. So sit down. But anyways, so the function or essentially the machine is literally everything that you need to find success, whether it's business, um, sales, relationship, doesn't matter, whatever it is. Now, how does that work exactly? What's a function? So a functioning or a machine is something that takes inputs and delivers outputs. So you put a variable into the machine, which is the input, or if you want to call it the domain, that's another concept in math. When you put an input into the machine, you're going to get a result, which is going to be the output or the range. Now, why is that important? Why is that the scientific method or whatever the scientific way to find success? We'll put it this way. Right now in society, people are focusing on always getting the results. They're always focusing on getting some kind of outcome. And that's what they put their energy on. Like, oh, how can I make $10,000 a month? Or how can I make $100,000 a month? They're thinking of the outputs. They're not thinking of what inputs or what do I got to put into the machine in order to help me get these outputs. Does that make sense? So in other words, is what am I putting into the machine being you, that's helping me get the output that I want, which in this case, whether there's money, health, whatever it is, that's not the point. The output doesn't matter. What matters is the input. So what are you focusing on? What actions are you taking? And when I say this, I want you to think about like your life right now. Because if you look at your life as just like inputs versus outputs, you're going to see why you are where you are. You're going to see why you're getting the results that you're getting. You're going to see why you're not getting the results that you're looking for. And it literally just boils down to the action that you're taking that's getting you the outputs that you're getting. So if you're overweight and you're not in shape and you feel unhealthy, well, look into your life and see what's happening. What inputs are you putting into your body? Like, what are you eating? What energy is that providing for you? What are you consuming? These are all inputs. Inputs is everything that you everything that you consume, every action that you take, everything that's essentially going to give you a result at the end. So think of the law of cause and effect. What are you doing? What's the cause that's creating the effect? And when you focus on this, all right. So if, for example, you want to work on improving your cardiovascular health, and the input that you start doing is, okay, I'm going to run 5 miles, or sorry, 5K every day, which is 3 miles. The input is 5 miles or 5K every single day. Well, over time, the equation or the formula of the machine is going to start working, and it's going to deliver an output, which is going to be improved cardiovascular health. Now, again, you need to focus on the inputs. Forget about the outputs. The outputs they're gonna create themselves, but you have to focus on the inputs. What are you putting into your life? What are you consuming? What are you putting into this machine that's gonna get you this output or this effect or this result? Now, to bring it all in together again, you learned this in algebra. You just didn't know how to apply it to your personal life because you were so focused on like just getting the grade or whatever, that you didn't actually think like, hey, wait a minute, algebra, and this is like algebra 1, so you may have learned this in middle school actually. I don't know, depending on how advanced you were in math, but in algebra, you're literally taught like, hey, if you put this number in here, you get this result. So if you put 2x, or if you put 2 on the f of x equals whatever, 3x squared, whatever, and you put that in, when you do the math, f of 2 equals 13. So input equals output. And that's it. That's the key. That's literally the key. What inputs are you putting into your life that's giving you the outputs that you're getting right now? If the outputs that you're getting right now is not what you desire, change the inputs, change the actions, change the habits, change the things that you're putting into your machine that's getting you these results that you don't desire. So I hope this is clicking with you guys, because this is going to transform the way you believe, the way you see the world, the way you behave. Because at the end of the day, like, as I guess it's a little like inhumane for me to say this, but humans are in a way machines. Humans were biological computers. We're a little bit complex because we have emotions and all this, but at the end of the day, that's essentially what a human is. We have systems in place inside of us that help the machine function. And if you are able to control what you put into the machine, which you should be able to control because this is your life, then you're gonna get the results or the outputs that you desire. But what's funny about all this as well is that once you start getting the outputs that you desire, you're not even going to care for them anymore. You're going to be so dialed in on the inputs that the outputs are just going to be like a byproduct. It's going to be like, oh, okay, cool. I got that. I got that. But that's where you want to be anyways. You want to be so focused on the inputs and the process that nothing else matters. And what's funny about you being so engulfed in the actual process of you getting the results is that that's where you're going to be the most happiest anyways. And you'll see, like for example, when I was in when I trained for jujitsu, I realized that the reason why I progressed so quickly in jujitsu wasn't because like I was manifesting or sitting down like visualize. Well, I kind of was visualizing, but that's not the point. I wasn't like trying to manifest like a black belt or whatever. I literally just showed up and I just put the work in like at the mat time, and I just fell in love with like being a student and just learning and applying different moves and different techniques. I wasn't afraid of getting tapped. I wasn't afraid of like tap, or I didn't care about tapping others. All I care about was just learning the moves, applying them, and seeing what outcome or what results I got from that. And just keep tweaking over and over and over until I got a desired outcome. So that's the secret right there. You got to turn your life into a scientific project, and you got to use literally, well, I was going to say basic math, or for some people that's not basic, but you literally just got to use math. This is the numbers game. Life is literally a numbers game. It's a mathematical numbers game. Put the work in, get the results. You didn't get the results you want? Okay, go back to the input and tweak it and see what you tweaking that, how that affects the outcome. And you keep doing that over and over and over till you get the result. And then that's it. That's pretty much the process. And a lot of people, they, I guess they kind of like, ruin that, or they think it's something more because, they let the emotions and their thinking get in control with them. But like, if you literally just turn your life into a scientific experiment where you try different things to get different outcomes, eventually, and you keep doing that over and over, eventually you're gonna get what you're looking for. Don't overthink it. Just apply, take action, inputs, keep putting the inputs, and eventually you're gonna get the results that you're looking for. But that's pretty much all I have for this video. I don't want to get super in depth with it and make like a hour video or anything like that. Just please remember that your life, you're a machine. So put the inputs in there and you're gonna get the outcomes. And I hope that helps someone. If it did, like the video, subscribe, share with someone that might find it valuable. If it didn't help you, well, thanks for watching, I guess. No, I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. That's cool. But until next time, guys, I'll see you later.